The Nightjar and Inkosazana Yase Zulwini, Chris Mann. The Nightjar and Inkosazana Yase Zulwini, Chris Mann. The Princess of the Heavens. Zulu, the speckled bird as brown as dust, which roosts inside a bush by day, hiding its head against the glare, at midnight pecked against the pane, and gently pecked, until I saw the starlight glitter through its beak. On calm and tender summer nights, when fishes bite the wobbling moon, and moths rise to silvery fruit, sprinkling the space among the boughs, it wakes and glides from sill to sill, across the worn-out curtained town. It shook the Sandman from my sight, and when the tar-bound slope had turned to bush and rocky hill, it said, "There is a grass house in the hills, above the coast, where sugar spumes and lilies sprout, and no storms fly. There, the Princess of Heavens, beside her dark as honey feet, gathers up the dreams which reach her, and stooping to her woven pots, rinses them in rainbow water, or stores them with the morning mist. Go, waking sleeper, call to her, and wading through the icy stream in which the golden pebbles shine, ask her if her power is love, for she is old as she is young, and without her, no one dreams." She leaned against the leafless tree on which a crown of crimson burned, and then the hill began to dim, and standing in the graying rocks, I heard the nightjar fade, from sill to sill, across the windowed town. Vocabulary list. Words basic. Meaning and context of the poem: Nightjar nocturnal. Migratory, speckled brown bird that roosts on the ground. Inkosazana princess or young lady, a title for a young unmarried woman perceived to be of high status. Yase zulwini heavenly, speckled, sprinkled, covered, or marked with many small spots or patches of color. Roosts nests, glare shine, with a strong or dazzling light. Pecked of a bird, strike or bite something with its beak. Pane, the window pane of the speaker's room. Wobbling unsteady, move or cause to move unsteadily. Boughs main branches a tree, glides fly, without flapping wings. Sill windowsill, worn out, extremely tired, exhausted, Sandman. The fictional man supposed to make children divided by people sleep by sprinkling sand in their eyes. Tar-bound slope, sloped, tarred road, which fades into a dirt track continuing or stretching into a natural environment. Grass house, traditional African mud hut, spumes jets of water. Froth or foam, especially that found on waves. Sprout A plant puts out shoots, stooping bends forwards and downwards. Woven pots, traditional African grass-woven pots, so expertly woven that they can hold water. Wading walk with effort through water. Pebbles, little stones, leafless. Tree refers to the coral tree that flowers before its leaves emerge, symbolic of hope and perseverance. Crimson or rich, deep red color, graying rocks, dawn is coming. Sun is about to rise, more light on rocks. About the poet. Christopher Michael Mann was born in Port Elizabeth on 6 April 1948. He obtained a BA degree at Wits University, an MA in English Language and Literature at the University of Oxford, and an MA in African Oral Literature at the School for Oriental and African Studies in London. After a few years as a teacher in Swaziland, he taught at Rhodes University in the late 1972. From 1980 to 1992, he worked in KwaZulu-Natal at the Valley Trust Medical and Agricultural Project. In KwaZulu-Natal, Mann fell in love with aspects of Zulu culture. Owing to his quiet personality, workers at the Valley Trust nicknamed him Zithulele, meaning the Quiet One. Following the publication of his debut poetry collection, First Poems, 1979, Mann won several awards, including the Newdigate Prize for Poetry from Oxford, the Olive Schreiner Prize, and the Thomas Pringle Award. In his expanded and revised inaugural lecture as professor of poetry at Rhodes University in Grahamstown, Makhanda, Held in April 2006 and published in 2008 and 2009, man linked art to the foundational pillars of life, science, and the worship of God across all ages and belief systems. His prayerful and joyous poems offer deep reflections on apartheid times, nature, God, the cosmos, and the inevitability of death. He wished for his poems to nourish the reader's love for humanity and for the planet. As a native English speaker, man was also able to converse in Afrikaans, Zulu and Xhosa. He felt that poetry needed to be performed and often took tours around the country, playing his guitar and singing his poetry to students at universities, schools, and conferences in South Africa. Man died of cancer at his home on 10 March 2021. About the poem. The poem is rooted in the tradition of old songs and ballads, enriched with Zulu traditions and set in a modern KwaZulu-Natal landscape. The nightjar, a nocturnal bird, wakes the sleeper divided by speaker. The sleeper divided by speaker is urged to give his dreams to the Zulu Princess of the heavens. The princess is immortal and the maker and keeper of dreams. She will take dreams, clean them in rainwater, wrap them safely up in the morning mist, and store them in her woven pots. Type and structure. The poem is ballad, set in modern-day KwaZulu-Natal. The poem consists of 36 lines divided into 6 stanzas with 6 lines each. It has no set rhyme scheme, free verse, tone, and mood. The poem creates a dreamlike mood. The tone of the poem is hopeful, optimistic, and calm. Themes. The role of the mythical world, here taken from different cultures, equals Europe, Sandman, and African, the princes of heavens. The importance of dreams. The poem tells the speaker and the reader that it is important to have dreams and goals for one's life. One should never give up hope, but strive to make one's dreams come true. The title. The title introduces the reader to 2 of the characters in the poem. The nightjar is a brown nocturnal bird, and the inkosazana yase zulwini, who, according to the subtitle, is the Princess of Heavens. The third character is the first-person speaker. He is the sleeper. He relates the story and his experiences with both the nightjar and the Princess of Heavens. Line-by-line analysis. Line 1. The speckled bird is as brown as dust. Line 2. Which roosts inside a bush by day. Line 3. Hiding its head against the glare. Stanza 1. The poem opens with a description of the nightjar. A nightjar is a nocturnal, ground-nesting bird. Therefore, its brown-black plumage with white marking on it makes it hard to see it during daytime as it fades into the background. Simile. The bird's brown color is compared to brown dust. This resemblance to dust and tree roots keeps it cleverly camouflaged during the day. The word roosts describes the place where the nightjar settles to rest during the day, that is on the ground among the tree roots. Being nocturnal, active during the night, the bird's eyes are sensitive to the strong sunlight, and therefore it hides its head against the dazzling sunlight. Glare. The alliteration of the B and D sounds, and the consonants created by the repeated g sound, imitate the pecking sound of the bird's beak, which will be the sound used to wake the man. But it also links the words. This then emphasizes the effective way the birds blend into the background, its ability to camouflage itself. Line 4. At midnight, pecked against the pane. Line 5. And gently pecked, until I saw line 6. The starlight through its beak. It is already midnight. The bird has finally succeeded in waking the speaker by gently pecking against his window pane. As it is midnight, the speaker can see the glitter of the stars through the beak of the bird as it opens and closes its beak. What woke him was the sound of the persistent pecking of the bird against the window. However, he is immediately visually inclined the moment he awakes from his deep sleep. His focus is on the bright, beautiful glitter of the starlight. The glittering starlight emphasizes the peacefulness of the scene and is symbolic of hope and fulfillment. Notice the onomatopoeic effect of the P alliteration and the assonance of the G sound. One can almost hear the continuous divided by persistent pecking of the bird against the window pane. The nightjar, as we will find out later, acts as the messenger of the princes of heavens, waking up the speaker to give him a message that relates to her. Stanza 2, line 7, on calm and tender summer nights. Line 8, when fishes bite the wobbling moon. The nightjar is a migratory bird that only comes to Africa for our summers. It starts migrating at the start of autumn in the country they are in at that stage. Notice how the choice of words in line 7, calm, tender, emphasizes the peaceful and pleasant summer nights. It is a clear, cloudless night, and the full moon is reflected in the pool. One can see the fishes nibbling at the moving, divided by shaking reflection of the moon in the water. The movement of the moon's reflection is caused by the gentle lapping of the water and the movement of the abundance of fish in the pond. The plural fishes is used to describe large number of different species divided by types of fish. The light of the moon has attracted their attention in the same way that the glittering starlight has attracted the speaker's attention. As it is dark, their focus is on the light of the stars divided by moon. It emphasizes the peacefulness and serenity of the scene, and the enriching divided by redeeming effect of having divided by seeing light in darkness. Line 9, and moths rise to silvery fruit. Line 10, sprinkling the space among the boughs. The moths rise. They are also brought to life by the moonlight. They fly divided by flutter between the fruit trees which appear to be silvery because of the moonlight. Metaphor. In the moonlight, the fruit has a silvery color. The fluttering of the moth's wings as they fly between the branches gives the illusion of silver being sprinkled on divided by between the trees. The sliver comes from their wings. Alliteration of the sound emphasizes the fluttering sound of the silvery wings of the moths and emphasizes the soft, gentle, peaceful atmosphere of the night. Line 11. It wakes and glides from sill to sill. Line 12. Across the worn-out, curtained town. It refers to the nightjar. Being nocturnal, it has woken up and flies effortlessly from windowsill to windowsill on this night when conditions are perfect. The sibilance, repetitive sound, emphasizes the bird's effortless flight divided by gliding and the peaceful silence of the night. Personification. The town is described as worn out, which means that all the inhabitants of the town are tired after the day's work. Metaphor. The curtained town refers to all the inhabitants who have drawn their curtains at nighttime before going to sleep. The curtains are drawn to close out the world. In contrast to this, the rest of the stanza, and the poem as such, describes an open, warm, inviting and sparkling natural world which never closes itself off. The nightjar, who seek out only people who are pure of heart and who are worthy enough of a meeting or a consultation with the Prince of Heavens. It is possible that the sleeper's curtains were not drawn shut, allowing the bird to see and thus wake him. It might also just be that he is more in tune with the natural world and therefore more susceptible to the pecking divided by voice of the nightjar. It implies that he is pure of heart. Stanza 3, line 13. It shook the Sandman from my sight. The Sandman is a mythical character in European folklore, divided by myth who lets people sleep, and encourages divided by inspires beautiful dreams, by sprinkling magical sand into their eyes at night. In this line, the nightjar has woken the sleeper. He has thus removed the Sandman and prevented him from making the speaker sleep. This is where the weaving of cultures and mythologies start, European and African.